All right, welcome back. Let's get another opinion now on the next 4 years of the Buhari administration. I'm now being joined again from Abuja by Obiora Oji, who is a political analyst. Obiora Oji, thank you very much for joining us on the program. First, let me start by asking you, how exactly would you assess the past 4 years now of the Buhari's government?
Yeah, thank you very much. The past 4 years has, been nurtured with its ups and downs, and but that is not to say that there is no good, bad, and the ugly as it affects what has really transpired in the last 4 years. But be that as it may, the idea is that there is no other better time than to talk about moving forward than now that we are transiting from the last 4 years into the next 4 years. But so far, so good. Nigerians have been, treated to a good level of a governance that is quite different from the past administration, and we cannot just take away the place of some level of inconsistency, some level of distractions in the entire polity. But in as much as that is done, we also see some level of strides as it affects fighting corruption, fighting the security aspects, which has become a very serious and critical issues in the national polity. So basically, we look at that and also look at other social safety nets that has been done in terms of agriculture, value chain, the issue of economy, the rail system, there's so much to talk about, but essentially, we will probably give some level of pass mark in as much as the government has been nurtured with some level of distractions.
All right, Obiora, let's talk about the economy now. Some people have said, look, they wish we could go back to the time before President Buhari became president, when the economy was growing at, between 5 and 7%. At the moment, of course, you look at the last GDP figures now released by the Bureau of Statistics. The economy, of course, in the first quarter growing at just 2.01%. And the government targeting 3.01% by the end of this year. But then when you consider the fact that the population of the country too is growing at more than 2%, that it gives a cause for worry. So what would you have to say about the growth of the economy, and that if you were projecting, what exactly would you be expecting to see?
Yeah, the growth of the economy is it's been projected at the percentage you have just given now, and in as much as we look at that in the economic and other economic safety nets, it will be very, very important to also look at those indicators and those essential things that needs to be done. Like you are aware, for the past since this democratic experiment from 1999 down the line, there has not been a ready-made vehicle to drive down grassroots development as it affects the local government system, where most of these issues of unemployment, issues of job creation, issues of empowerment, and all forms of social safety nets would have been domesticated earlier enough. Unfortunately, the local government system has been emasculated by the state governors, and that has gone a lot to affect the entire economic projections. Essentially, what is required now is to join hands with Mr. President with the latest development that is in the financial industry, with the NIFU, the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, that has been formed to ensure that this local government system, they get their fund and they are monitored on how these funds are disbursed and how the kind of developments are, the kind of development strides that they're trying to make, and that will actually give a very good, reflect the economy and give a very good scale up to the economic expectations.
What about security? I mean, no doubt, of course, Boko Haram has been degraded, that's for sure, but we now have a new challenge, and that's the challenge of armed banditry and, of course, kidnapping, especially in the north of the country. As we speak today, the northwest and the north central, of course, not at peace. What do you expect to see going forward now, over the next 4 years and probably beyond, in terms of dealing with the insecurity in the country, so to speak?
Yeah, thank you very much. It may interest you to know that Mr. President has graciously also they're currently contemplating the issue of state policing, because the security aspect in the country has become a hydra-headed monster over time, and the situation whereby killing and kidnapping is no more big news, is something that is very worrisome. But I strongly believe that there has been a lot of achievements as it affects trying to motivate the security infrastructure, try to redesign the security architecture, and also trying to ensure that the right kind of people are in the security operations, and at a particular point in time, thank God, at least the new IG of police is also, not losing sleep about. Is also at his very best, really losing sleep about the situation, and at the same time, all the interagency collaboration is a thing that needs to be done now. In as much as it's not an easy thing to collaborate between the immigration, between the police, between even the federal fire service, even the Navy, the Army, and all other security agencies, including the youth. So there's a lot to be done, and based on what has transpired, it is expected that now, I think Mr. President is really, getting worried about how to arrest all the situation and ensure that the security, is in place. So based on that, I think what is very, very key now is to ensure that the security bar is raised to a large extent, to also ensure that a very good interagency collaboration from community to the center is very much put on ground.
And let's talk about unemployment. It's still a very big problem. Quite a number of people in this country are unemployed, especially the young. We've been told the unemployment figure would range from between 18 to 20-something%. What new approach do you expect the government to adopt?
It's expected that at least the government will bring about some level of development content more into the next 4 years level. Given that it's also, containing this next level plan of action to scale up its social intervention as it affects market money, trader money, and all those social safety nets. It's also looking at how to be more magnanimous in victory by bringing some form of technocrats into the system. And it's expected that when the new cabinet comes on board, that we actually give a kind of antenna that we need to, watch, and to also look at how some of these, perceived technocrats, or those that we're looking at, will be in the government, to ensure that they bring the needed, support to the government, so that the next level agenda will be fully fulfilled. The critical component of a good governance has to do with, having the right kind of people on board at every particular time. And essentially now that the new cabinet is being anticipated, it is also expected that such will equally help to rejig the economy, to bring about the desired fight against hunger, against unemployment, against the issue of, corruptions and other social vices.
All right, Obiora, thank you very much for your time and for your contributions. I will take a short break and we'll be right back. On Deji 360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
Constitution is constituent. Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action. People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dollars that call themselves governors in this country?
I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly.
God forbid that I go to join that panel.
Deji 360, providing clarity to issues.